Wake 1 Hotel Tango, taking runway 2 and departing the area to the northwest.
Welcome back to the channel, you curd nerds. You might be wondering, well, where in the hell are we headed today? We're about to go try and find some sunken treasure. No, I'm kidding. We're actually going out to Madeline Island. But the reason we are going to Madeline Island is because there may very well be a shipwreck off Stockton Island. And this aircraft is actually completely loaded up with scuba gear so that we can, well, try and go find it. Now, you may be thinking, this sounds awesome. I want to go get a seaplane so that I can go scuba dive off of my seaplane. But remember, the regulations associated with scuba diving and flying aircraft. You know, you need to wait that 12 hours, that 24 hours, depending on whether or not you're doing a decompression dive or a normal dive. Also, scuba gear is kind of heavy and cumbersome to get in and out of a seaplane. Now, if you had something up on floats, it might be a little bit easier, but this Lake 200 EP, it would be incredibly difficult to get the 30, 45 pounds of gear in and out of the aircraft without sinking the gear or banging it against a wing, causing damage to the aircraft. So we're not going to be scuba diving directly out of the seaplane. We are going to be dragging the gear pretty far, though, to actually try and get to this shipwreck. And here we are flying over the Three Lakes area. Apparently one of these lakes has a restaurant right on the beach or right on the water. And there's also an adjoining airport. They also have a campground. Let me know if y'all want to see a video of us going to check that place out. We haven't gone just yet. We keep toying around with the idea, but we haven't gone just yet. So let me know if y'all want to see a video on that. But we were getting absolutely rocked the entire way to Madeline Island. I don't know what was going on with the weather today, but turbulence was just absolutely asinine. That cloud layer up there was at something like 9,000 feet, so it's not like we were crossing over it. So we were getting absolutely rocked the entire, something like 2.5 hour flight. After hours of getting rocked by abhorrent turbulence, there is Madeline Island right off the nose of the aircraft. Now, there is an airport on Madeline Island. It's got about a 3,000 foot runway, but as I said earlier, we're not going to be scuba diving directly off of the island where the shipwreck is, because if you look closely, you might recognize this as a wilderness area, saying that they just request that you stay at least 2,000 feet AGL above this charted area. But if you look right over here, you can see that there's actually prohibitions related to this wilderness area. So make sure if you are operating near wilderness areas that you check and make sure that there's no prohibitions associated with them, as opposed to the just 2,000 feet AGL. And you can see right up there off the left, there's our airport with our runway of intended landing. The wind was pretty calm, so we were going to take this runway until we noticed our ride was right there on the ferry. You can see the ferry just on the left side of the screen. My in-laws, they were coming to hang out with us as well, and they drove while we flew. And of course, we stayed our 500 feet away from all vessels and our quarter mile away from the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore. Now we're gonna go hop on a boat. This ride was actually a lot of fun. We saw a bunch of the Apostle Islands. We are going right up there. That's the lakeshore that we plan on going to. It's like $25 a head to take this boat over to Stockton Island. They only take you there for 2 hours, so if you are planning on going, make sure you plan whatever you're gonna do, and definitely bring bug spray, like the DEET stuff. None of that all natural nonsense. Bring 100% DEET, because the mosquitoes there were absolutely horrendous. So here's the little route that we're going. There's the first island that we're kind of going by. And then we're going from there way over there to Stockton Island. I know this would have been a much easier trip if we could have just landed the seaplane, but got to stay at least a quarter mile away from the islands. Once you do get to Stockton Island, to get to the beach that we planned on diving from, you got to take a nice little walk through the forest. It's an okay trail. Again, bring bug spray. The bugs are horrendous. For what? After about a half-hour walk through the woods, you finally get to one of like 10% of the beaches in the world that have singing sand. Supposedly when you walk around it barefoot, the sand squeaks. I didn't hear it at all. I heard no squeaky sands.
Yeah, that definitely feels like the play.
That looks deeper than I expected, to be honest.
Yeah. A lot of people probably think it's like $50 for 2 hours on the island, and that's $25 an hour on the island. Like that's.
I guess the boat ride was pretty good, but it was so loud. But now the way back, we never saw it.
Yeah.
Maybe the top front?
Yeah. Lake Superior doesn't seem as cold as Lake Michigan.
Yeah, which is weird
Because it's deeper?
the opposite.
Oh. It's shallower?
No, it's deeper, but I was told Lake Superior's colder.
Yeah. So far, bullshit.
Also way less pretty.
Yeah.
Coastal-wise.
Yeah.
Dark Canyon's way better than this.
Now, what genuinely surprised me now that we're in the water is how desolate it is, how completely void of any life. There was no fish, there was no crustaceans, there was no vegetation, there was no algae. It was just sand for as far as the eyes could see, and well, at least for as far as this camera could see as well. And as for that shipwreck, we saw none of it. Supposedly, it's spread out about 200 feet from its grid coordinates, if you look it up. And we found nothing. We didn't find any sticks, we didn't find any driftwood, we didn't find any rope. Definitely no sunken treasure. But it was still fun to get out to Stockton Island and, well, look at all of this desolate water. The only interesting things I did see was this rock that looked like it might have had a fossil in it. And we got a pretty cool selfie in the water with all our scuba gear on. Now, obviously, it sucks that we flew all the way out here to try and find a sunken ship and didn't find any of it, but maybe we'll find something later. And as always, thanks for watching, and keep it cheesy.